From LinkedIn News, I'm Leah Smart, host of Everyday Better, an award-winning podcast dedicated to personal development. Join me every week for captivating stories and research to find more fulfillment in your work and personal life. Listen to Everyday Better on the LinkedIn Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
From LinkedIn News, I'm Jessie Hempel, host of the Hello Monday podcast. Start your week with the Hello Monday podcast. We'll navigate career pivots. We'll learn where happiness fits in. Listen to Hello Monday with me, Jessie Hempel, on the LinkedIn Podcast Network or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to our sparring session. In our sparring sessions, we invite our guests to showcase their skills in a realistic scenario. In these sessions, don't look at what I do. Look at what our guest does and learn from their style. In some sessions, I'm pretty easy to deal with, but usually my goal in these conversations is to become the embodiment of your worst nightmare. Someone who's unnaturally persistent, unnecessarily difficult, and at times a little bit socially awkward. I want these conversations to be more difficult than it would be in real life, so when you encounter these types of situations, you'll know exactly how to handle it. We do the exact same things in our trainings and in our one-on-one coaching sessions with clients. I strongly recommend listening to the accompanying episode with our guest before listening to the sparring session. That'll give you a little bit more context and help you to develop a better understanding for the scenario. So without further ado, let's jump into this sparring session. All right, so in this hypothetical situation, I am a business owner. I sell socks, and I had a difficult situation with one of my manufacturers, and Sunny and her team came in and solved the problem. And there was supposed to be a retainer paid. I did not pay the last month's installment, and now I am behind $2,000. And so Sunny is going to call me and chat with me about that.
Sounds good.
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right. Hi, is Kwame there?
Yes, this is Kwame. How are you?
Hi, Kwame. It's Sunni DiNicola with Lardier McNair. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing okay.
Okay, you kind of sound like you're not doing okay. Has everything been okay with the sock business?
Well, it's here August 21st. It's end of the summer. People aren't really too keen on wearing socks during the summer, so it's been a little bit slow. But yeah, it's been a bit slow. But yeah, I'm sorry. I've been meaning to get back to you. I know I have a good idea of why you're calling today. I'm a bit behind. I know that.
And you know what, Kwame? That's the reason I'm calling you. I mean, we really appreciated that you had so much faith in our firm to help you out with the manufacturer. And I think, we both agree that you had a pretty good outcome. And I think when I'm looking at your last invoice, there's about $2,000 left to pay on your bill, that happens to a lot of people. I just want to know, can we discuss potential plans to get this paid off? I could work a payment plan out with you every month, or I could give you a % off if that would help you get caught up. I don't know what your personal financial situation is. So why don't you explain that a little bit to me and we can figure this out.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons I wanted to call you was because I wanted to talk to you about the performance of the firm. Yeah, because even though the outcome was all right, there are certain things that I wish we would have done differently. I feel like there wasn't enough communication throughout the process. I'm just a little bit, even though everything turned out okay, I guess I'm just a little bit disappointed in the process. Okay,
well, what particularly were you disappointed with? You said communication.
Yeah, I just feel like there were times when something might have happened in the course of the case, and I didn't get. It's like, of course, within a week, somebody would let me know what happened. But I thought coming into this that maybe if something big happened, immediately afterwards you would give me a call. Like you hung up with them and then you called me. That's what I was hoping. And sometimes like a day or maybe even 2 days would go past and then you would let me know.
Well, I'm sorry about the lack of communication that you felt. I think that's pretty standard with a lot of, busy law firms. But if that's something that you were requiring a little bit more communication, I didn't ever hear you tell me that. And did you talk to any of the other attorneys in our firm about that? Is it something that I can maybe do some, role playing with my staff to make sure that doesn't happen to somebody else or?
No, I never mentioned it. I guess I probably should have spoken up, but it was just something that kind of bugged me a little bit.
Is that the reason that you not paying the rest of the retainer?
I guess, I guess not. I don't know. It was just something that came to mind when I was thinking about making payments or reaching out to you about payments. But I guess that might have been one of the little barriers that I had when it came to this conversation.
Okay, well, again, I do want to apologize for what you felt was a lack of communication. And obviously, everybody communicates a little bit different in our firm, and we're all different people. And, all of our clients are different. Some of, our clients never even want to talk to me. And some of my clients want to talk to me every day. So I think, if anything happens and we'd hope that we have a long-term relationship with you and your business, Kwame, that, now that I know that your expectations are a little bit more immediate with follow-ups, we'll make a note of that, and that can happen in the future. But for what we're talking about today with your past due invoice, like I said, I'm happy to relook at your bill and maybe take off some of the time where there was a couple days that lapsed between when you first, when we first had a conversation with someone, then it didn't have the immediate conversation with you. And I'm happy to look over your bill to take some of that time off. Like I said, I'm happy to do a payment plan with you, maybe a couple $100 a month or $500 a month to get it paid off. If you think you could come up with a bulk sum, I'm happy to take 25% off of what you owe and just have you pay it off all at once. I don't know, whatever works for you, Kwame. I want you to be comfortable with the final outcome.
Okay, well, first of all, I appreciate your apology and your willingness to adjust. That's very helpful. What do you have in mind? How much do I owe you?
You owe $2,000 right now. So if you did $1,500, I'd write off the other $500 and call it a day.
Okay.
Or if you want to do maybe $500 a month for the next 4 months, I'm happy to do that as well.
Okay. Yeah, a bulk sum for me right now would be really, frankly, just impossible given my operating funds. Yeah, I think doing the payment plan in increments, I think that'll be the best way to do it.
Okay. You know what? Just because, I feel bad about the communication issues that we had, and I would, like to be your first call if anything ever happens to you in the future. Why don't we just do four $400 a month payments, and then I'll write off the other $400.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Let me just make a note in my system. And I don't know, Kwame, but you can do payments right on our website.
Perfect.
If you go to www.lmcouncil.com, there's a web portal. You just put your name in there, retainer, and you can make payments once a month. And I'll get an immediate reminder that you made that payment, and we can get this taken care of. But I'll also let my office manager know that we had this conversation.
Perfect. Yeah, that works. I will get on it.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to me, Kwame. I know you were a little hesitant when we first got on the phone, but I mean, never feel uncomfortable that you couldn't talk to me about any issues such as the communication, or if you're getting a little bit behind on the invoice. I'm here to help you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Make sure you keep listening to hear an in-depth breakdown of what worked in this sparring session so you can use the same strategies in your next negotiation. We'll be right back. Before we finish up this episode, I have a few questions for you. Does your job do professional development training? Are you looking for a workshop for your next conference? Does your profession require effective communication or dispute resolution? If so, a negotiation training seminar might be what you need. I've had the opportunity to do these trainings around the country, and I'd love to swing by your neck of the woods. Our customized negotiation seminars are as fun as they are informative. You'll not only discover the keys to negotiation and persuasion, you'll also have the opportunity to practice these skills in a safe environment with a negotiation simulation. And at the end of the seminar, you'll be able to communicate confidently, resolve disputes effectively, and get what you want out of your next negotiation. And as an added bonus, if you let us know far enough in advance, we can get these trainings certified for continuing education credits. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or shoot me an email to learn more. Now let's get back to the show.
Hey you, I'm Andrew Seaman. Do you want a new job? Or do you want to move forward in your career? Well, you should listen to my weekly show called Get Hired with Andrew Seaman. We talk about it all, and it's waiting for you, yes you, wherever you get your podcasts.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/marketer. Terms and conditions apply.
That was good. I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, let's do a play-by-play, because I think there were several nuances here that I want to make sure that the listeners catch. The first thing was you latched on immediately to the change in tone that came when you when I realized it was you.
Thanks for not hanging up on me.
Yeah. And so in those types of situations, what often people do is that they do the ostrich technique and put their head in the sand and pretend like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. And one of the most simple negotiation techniques, and really I think it's something we can utilize in conversation in general, is stating the obvious. Something changed there in my affect, and you asked about it. You didn't let it go. And that was important because it gave you insight into what was going on in my situation, and you could then use that subsequently in the conversation. So that was huge. And it showed that you actually cared about me as a person, not just as a means to an end. Mm-hmm. So that was great. And it ties into what you said in the last episode about empathy. The next thing was your apology was perfect, because not only did you apologize once, you said sorry twice. And one of the key things about the apologies that people often miss is not only just demonstrating genuine remorse, but also making a commitment to do better in the future, not just for this particular person, but for other people in general. And so by saying thank you for vocalizing your concern with regard to the communication issue, and then saying, what could we do to do better in the future? It demonstrates that you have a willingness to continue with the relationship and a willingness to improve to make sure it doesn't happen again. So that was expert.
The thing I always want to know is, what did I do wrong? If I did something wrong, what was it? How can I fix it for you, for anybody?
Right. And that's so human. But in business, we often forget. It's like we check our humanity at the door.
Absolutely.
So this was really good. And then you recognized, too, that I was deflecting. It was a bit of a defense mechanism. It wasn't a real concern, but you handled it with the legitimacy of a real concern. But once it was handled, you reoriented back to the bill.
Yeah.
And you tied the discount to the concern that I expressed. It was a very, very well played move there, putting those two things together.
All my expertise, Kwame.
I know, geez. Yeah, so in conclusion, you did a really, really great job with this one.
I'm glad we went on the fly then.
Yes, it worked out. Good deal. Well, thank you again for joining us. And before you go, is there anything else you'd like to say to the audience before you go?
No, keep on listening to Kwame's amazing podcast. It makes me smile whenever I listen to it. And I really am so honored that he asked me to be a part of it. So thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Are you finding this information helpful? If you are, make sure to subscribe and leave a review. I look at every single review, and knowing that this content is helpful is what fuels my passion. Negotiate Anything is now the top-ranked negotiation and conflict resolution podcast in the nation, thanks to awesome listeners like you. We are creeping up on 200,000 downloads, and we have listeners in 140 countries. So thank you for your continued support. Lastly, if you haven't yet, please reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn. Everyone who connects with me gets a personal message from me. Eventually, it takes time because I've been getting a lot more. I think I have 200 new invites to go through, but I want to keep hearing from you because it's your feedback and suggestions that made the show what it is today. So keep those suggestions coming, and LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. Thank you again for listening, and I will catch you in the next one.